Usborne, I love thee. Let me count the ways. Hi guys, Kathleen S here. I'm a homeschool graduate, a homeschool mom, and a learning enthusiast. And an enthusiast for Usborne books. So today I've got some Lift the Flap books that I want to show you that both I and my son absolutely adore. As I've referenced in my other videos, we don't have a homeschool room, so my son keeps his projects up on the table. So you'll find that today's project is Tinker Toys, so that's left up so I don't have to put it away for him. And you also notice these bags over here. I went to a used book sale, so stay tuned. That video for that haul is coming out soon. But behind me on the table is also all of the Usborne Lift the Flap books. So let's take a look. Okay, let's get into the Usborne love. There are two main series that I want to show you inside today. Usborne has lots more, but I'm just going to cover two. The first one is the Look Inside series. These are typically geared for ages 5 and up. And then the second is the See Inside series, and these are about ages 6 or 7 and up. These have a lot more detailed, a lot more complicated information that even a 6 or 7-year-old might struggle to understand. So definitely use your judgment what your child actually needs. So why do I love Usborne Lift the Flap books so much? Well, first, they are small tidbits of information, which is great for the kids who have shorter attention span, but you still want to, share some fun ideas with them. The second thing I absolutely love about Usborne books is they spark conversations. So this book in particular, my husband's an engineer. Stephen, when he read this with me last year, was asking all about the simple machines or how various things work. So he and his dad would discuss things over dinner, and often that would frequently go into a project of them building a pulley or something like that on their own. The third thing I love is, of course, the interactivity of the book. Even my pediatrician mentioned this to me. I brought these books to a doctor's appointment, and my kids were just absolutely enthralled with their various versions of Lift the Flap. And he said, yes, that's because they're interactive. They help hold the attention. So if you want to get some nonfiction information to your kids, Lift the Flaps are one of the best ways to go. And finally, my fourth reason for absolutely loving these Lift the Flap books is because they are jumping off points to more information. For example, the tornado page in this book, talking about how tornadoes work and some of the damage that they do to homes, we jump from there to look at YouTube videos. If you want to see a little bit more about how I do this, stick around. I'll show you a little bit later in the video. Okay, let's turn the camera around and actually see inside these books. As I said, we've got two series here to look at. We have the Look Inside series, which I chose to use this series last year for my 3-year-old's preschool science kind of core. I have not gone through the castle yet with him, but that's an example of the kind of history that you can get from these Lift the Flap books. And this one he just got for Christmas because he absolutely loves construction. And then the second series is the See Inside books. Again, these are for older kids, but my 3-year-old son absolutely loves several of these, and we're going to go back through these this year as part of science, probably picking up a little of these as well. So I want to take a look at this book in particular first. This was one of the ways we used to jump into more information. We discussed building sites and how houses were made, and he loved this process so much and wanted to repeat these particular spreads so much that I went onto YouTube and found some construction site videos. So they showed how they did the roofing, they showed how they laid the bricks, put in the plumbing. He absolutely ate up those videos. Now later on in this book, we get to cranes and building skyscrapers. And these pages jumped us into watching how cranes were actually constructed for building these skyscrapers. So that was a blast for him, getting to see an actual video on how these pieces got put together. So that's an example of how we use this as a jumping off point to more study. If you're having fun looking through these books, go ahead and bump that like button. Let me know that you're enjoying yourself. I already mentioned how we used this as part of science last year. We referenced the skies, the tornadoes was a lot of fun for him, looking into those and just discovering storms and the consequences of those. So yes, he absolutely loved this book as part of his kind of earth science last year as well. This book here is probably his favorite, and it's just because he absolutely loves space. It has all these great flaps inside that he has loved looking at, and it was probably part of the catalyst that got him and so addicted to studying space and anything about space. We have not gotten to this one yet, but I'm anticipating he will absolutely love everything about this book as well. This book we just got for him as part of his back to school fun box, and he has loved going through it, studying how bridges are designed, how skyscrapers are designed, different particular things about these bridges. When we got to this particular page in this book, he loves studying the Shanghai Tower and the Burj Khalifa, how they were built to withstand wind forces, and we pulled up videos on YouTube to further explore this subject, seeing actual live tours of these buildings. The other book Stephen has really loved is See Inside Where Food Comes From. This actually has sparked conversations since we were going through it at the time I had my daughter. He was studying where milk comes from, and he wanted to know, well, how is that different from your milk, Mommy? And why don't we drink your milk? And how does the cow milk process works? So we went off on tangents into yes, cheese making, milk production, and even a cow birth. We watched a video of a calf being birthed. These books, The Sea Inside Ships and The Sea Inside Train, are great. They have a combination of history and technology, so you actually study how the steam train works, and then it shows you some trains through history. And the same thing with ships, how ships work and some of the ships through history. So that's my Usborne Lift the Flap love. Some of my son's favorites I've pointed out to you, but if you have a favorite that I have not mentioned, put it down in the comments, because I am always looking for more science books for Stephen, particularly if they're the Usborne Lift the Flap style. Thanks guys, happy learning!